Ambulance crews in Dallas and Fort Worth have never been busier. In addition to the normal summer runs of accidents, health problems, and fire injuries, there are the dozens of calls to aid heat stroke victims. Dallas has recorded 13 deaths directly attributed to heat strokes. 35 other people have died from heat-related causes. Fort Worth has reported 12 heat-related deaths, 6 caused by heat strokes. Ambulance dispatchers can have as many as 18 crews out at once. This week, they've recorded as many as 14 on the streets at one time. It's a situation that both the crews and the public have been taking very seriously.
We've had a great number of heat stroke calls from elderly people and all over the city in different sections of town.
Do most of the heat stroke calls pan out, prove to be something?
Yes, sir. They have last week, yes, sir.
It's not something anyone's kidding around about?
No. We haven't had any false alarms that I know of on heat strokes.
The pace of the cruise is not expected to let up. The temperature has been hitting 100 degrees by noon each day, and there's no let up in sight. Tracy Smith for CBS News, Dallas.
Dr. Moore is from Houston, but he is in Beaumont visiting relatives. Moore says Khomeini is a very intelligent man. Evidence of that comes from his huge following. While in Iran, Moore had the opportunity to visit with the Ayatollah Khomeini. Here are some of his thoughts.
Well, I think the Ayatollah Khomeini certainly in himself, I'm led to believe that he's a very sincere man. I think that the mere fact that he considers himself and is an Islamic leader, he himself, in my judgment, has violated all of the tenements of Islam because he has encouraged the holding of hostages, which the Quran does not permit.
Many Americans still remember the failed rescue attempt. Well, Moore says he is glad it failed because, in his opinion, if the attempt had gone on as planned, a lot of innocent lives would have been lost.
If the aborted mission had been successful in reaching the embassy, that it would have probably tipped off Third World War. I'm certainly confident that we would have been killed, those of us, along with the American press and all of those journalists who were in Tehran on that event, all of us certainly would have been killed.
His comments about the release of the American hostages.
I have a sneaking suspicion that probably the hostages will be released in a very short time.
Dr. Moore is planning a return trip to Iran in the near future. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
Everyone has to eat, and automatically that means that everyone has to buy groceries, or at least the vast majority of us do. Inflation is also something that most of us are faced with, whether we like it or not. Inflation also causes our grocery bills to increase by the week. However, the companies that provide us with food products to spend our money on also provide money-off coupons to help us save on everything from bread to milk to detergents. Are shoppers using these coupons to cut corners? Charles Platt, assistant manager at a Gerland's grocery store, thinks they are.
Basically, I'd say most people are looking for a better bargain, and the companies are mass-producing more and more coupons out, and customers are going to the coupons to save a penny there, you know, adds up in the long run.
To find out if money-off coupons do save pennies and, in effect, fight inflation, we asked the shoppers.
Hey, do you use coupons to do your grocery shopping with?
I just use the first one right in there, just see.
Do you think it...
Very seldom ever, no.
You don't use them too much?
Very seldom.
Is that right? So you don't find them to be that useful in fighting inflation?
No, I don't. No, because I feel like if they could sell it less, it'd reduce the price.
Do you use coupons to do your grocery shopping with?
I use some coupons just on certain things.
And why is that?
Well, it cuts down on the price of groceries.
Well, I think by the time you run from one store to another using coupons, the price of gas, you've just wasted all the money.
So instead of helping fight inflation, you think, in fact, it's maybe costing you more to use them?
Yes, I really do.
When I do my grocery shopping, I don't. My wife does a lot. She sure does.
Do you know why she uses them?
Save money, you know, help out with the budget the best way possible.
Maybe the best rule to follow when using coupons is to first make a grocery list and then match your coupons with those items you wish to buy. This will probably work best to help save money. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
Dr. Moore is from Houston, but he is in Beaumont visiting relatives. Moore says Khomeini is a very intelligent man. Evidence of that comes from his huge following. While in Iran, Moore had the opportunity to visit with the Ayatollah Khomeini. Here are some of his thoughts.
Well, I think the Ayatollah Khomeini certainly in himself, I'm led to believe that he's a very sincere man. I think that the mere fact that he considers himself and is an Islamic leader, he himself, in my judgment, has violated all of the tenements of Islam because he has encouraged the holding of hostages, which the Quran does not permit.
Many Americans still remember the failed rescue attempt. Well, Moore says he is glad it failed because, in his opinion, if the attempt had gone on as planned, a lot of innocent lives would have been lost.
If the aborted mission had been successful in reaching the embassy, that it would have probably tipped off Third World War. I'm certainly confident that we would have been killed, those of us, along with the American press and all of those journalists who were in Tehran on that event, all of us certainly would have been killed.
His comments about the release of the American hostages.
I have a sneaking suspicion that probably the hostages will be released in a very short time.
Dr. Moore is planning a return trip to Iran in the near future. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
Around lunchtime today, residents in downtown Orange could see black smoke coming from towards Pinehurst. The stables on the E.W. Brown Ranch were burning to the ground.
And how did it start? What time did y'all get the call? 1:05. What time did the alarm come in?
Received at 11:52.
10:04. Well, it was electrical. I don't think there wasn't supposed to be anyone in there. And I was over in the garage over by the house doing some work on a little car that's over there. I saw the smoke. When I got over here, the whole back corner was burning. And of course, we didn't have anything here but fire hose coming in now, but garden hoses. It won't damn thing you could do with a garden hose.
Flames are shooting up, I'd say, at least 100 feet. It already got too big a head started.
Secluded in the rear of the sprawling Pinehurst Ranch, the stables, which previously housed many champion racehorses, was now being used to keep a collection of some 15,000 books gathered by the Brown family. Life for volunteer firemen was tough today, but they came from all the nearby areas. Still, the flames were too much for the 40-foot-high pine structure. While stables can be rebuilt, Brown family members say the smoke took with it a part of local racehorse history. From the E.W. Brown Pinehurst Ranch, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Visitors to the Beaumont Arts Festival have been lucky these past few days. They didn't have to put up with temperatures in the hundreds. But walking out in the hot sun can pose problems, whether or not the mercury reads 90 or 100. That's why area hospitals are on standby readiness in case of problems encountered in the heat.
With the heat exhaustion being like it has been, we are ready if any cases were to come in. We have no reported cases so far, but we do have a standby ready if they were to come in. We would be ready if someone were to come in with severe sunburn with our equipment that we treat our burn patients with.
Baptist Hospital is probably known best for its burn unit, considered to be one of the best. While heat exhaustion and heat stroke cases would not require burn unit treatment, specialists in burns are always on call. For those who visited the Arts Festival today, and even those who just stayed out in the sun, Many were observed staying directly out of the rays of the sun and keeping liquids in their bodies. Apparently the word is out that heat stroke cases can be fatal. But because of preventative measures, there were no cases of it reported during the 3-day Arts Festival.
The third annual Beaumont Summer Arts Festival has been an outstanding success despite the heat we've experienced this summer. It seems there's something here for just about everybody.
Pottery. You can watch him make it over there, and it's real interesting.
Just the paintings, the unique, different things they have.
So you like the handicraft and the art?
Yeah, I sure do. Just a little neat, something you can hang up in your house that nobody else has.
Well, it's hard to say. There's quite a few nice exhibits here, and I haven't covered it all yet.
The paintings, just, and the people, the whole.
You've enjoyed seeing all the different people?
Yeah, it's been nice. The heat stands out in my mind.
Okay.
Well, I came out to see my sister. She was in a play called The Horns of a Dilemma, and I just came out here and I'm just looking around. It's real interesting to see all the people and all their art exhibits and things.
I like the seashells over there.
Did you get any?
My mama said I could go back and get some in a minute.
Okay, what else?
I like the Indian dances.
I like the art, the artwork, the paintings, and there's a particular artist down there from San Antonio. His watercoloring is gorgeous.
Oh, I just love people, and I like it all.
You think you'd come back next year?
Most definitely.
The Summer Arts Festival, as we've mentioned already at least once, was a great success this year. There is going to be another one next year, and even more people are expected to turn out. Reporting for Channel 6 News, I'm Albert Zipp.
This is the home of the Abshire family, and around back they have an unusual pet. This is a 4-month-old buck. It was given to the Abshires by a close friend who found 3 of them wandering alone after their mother had been killed. The Abshires say they will keep this one and raise it.
There's a buddy of mine that works up in Huntsville on a seismograph crew, and they was out in the woods blasting for oil, and they found 3 of them. They couldn't find the mother. Apparently she had gotten killed, but they took it in. 2 of them died, and it's the only one that stayed alive, and he didn't have room to raise it, so he brought it down here to me.
The buck has yet to be named, and it has to be fed by a bottle. The Abshires had to get a permit from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department in order to keep the buck here in town.
We're going to keep him as long as it stay alive.
What do you have to feed it?
Well, right now we're bottle feeding him. That's the only thing he can take. And once he gets his teeth in and everything, he'll start eating oats and corn and stuff like that.
The baby buck appears to have outgrown its shyness of people and seems to be rather happy in its new surroundings. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
The telephone company has never been granted the full amount by the Texas Public Utilities Commission, but this time Bell officials say the amount requested is what is actually needed.
The AT&T system last year was ranked well below industrial companies as far as profits are concerned. Now, true, the profits were in the billions of dollars, but we have a big investment in both in Texas and nationwide, and we have to earn off that investment.
No increase is being sought for pay telephone, intrastate long distance, or Watts service, but Bell wants to decrease from 10 to 5 the number of free directory assistance calls per month. Calls over the limit would cost 25 cents compared to the 20 cents now charged. For Beaumont residents, a one-party line, which now costs $6.15 a month, would increase by $1.25, while businesses would see an increase of almost $4 a month. The phone company also wants to reclassify the cities of Dayton, Liberty, and Silsbee for higher charges. This would lead to monthly phone bills increasing by as much as $1.50 a month. The Public Utilities Commission held a preliminary hearing this morning in Austin, but final action on the request will probably not come before winter. We'll keep you posted on what occurs. Bruce Cates, Channel 6 News.
Flames shooting up 100 feet at noon yesterday summoned not only Pinehurst volunteers, but firefighters from West Orange, Bridge City, Little Cypress, and Deweyville to the stables here at the Brown Pinehurst Ranch. Today, the 40-foot-tall structure, which once was the home for many a Gold Cup-winning racehorse, is now 60 by 160 feet of charred pine wood and the subject of a fire investigation that so far has turned up nothing. Some valuable saddles, a collection of 15,000 books that cannot be replaced, and minor burns to 3 firemen were the casualties of the noontime blaze. Witnesses at the scene only guessed that the fire started because of an electrical short. No dollar value has been placed on the building constructed in 1934 or its contents. Yesterday, this area was filled with firemen, many of them volunteer. And Pinehurst fire officials would like to thank those volunteer firefighters from the surrounding communities that came in and gave a hand, and also a word of thanks to just all the people who stopped by to pitch in. From the E.W. Brown Pinehurst Ranch, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Mention crawfish, and you open discussion about a whole new industry in a number of counties along the upper Texas coast. Because Orange County made a killing in the business, Jefferson, Chambers, and other counties are anxious to get started with their own crawfish plants.
No doubt about it. Orange County has really got into the crawfish business in a big way. There's no reason why Jefferson County can't do the same or maybe a little bit better. We have plenty of land, we have plenty of water, 2 essential elements for raising crawfish, and a lot of farmers out here with a lot of experience in raising rice, another added help in raising crawfish.
Texas probably has a market for about 6 million pounds of crawfish. However, only a small part of this market is being tapped. Most crawfish sold now in the state comes from Louisiana, which produces 12 to 25 million pounds annually. So, after hearing how profitable the market is, the obvious question is, how do you get started in it?
Take a look at some of the publications that we have here at the County Extension Office. They give some pretty general basic guidelines that would help you get informed about crawfish.
The crawfish harvest season runs from October until June, with the tasty critters reaching market size in 3 months. As production increases, more Texans will be able to feast on crawfish, and that should add to an already demanding market. Bruce Cates, Channel 6 News.
With no rain in the near future and the ground becoming increasingly drier, outdoor plants, shrubs, and grass are taking a real beating. But Ed Weaver, a Jefferson County agricultural extension agent, offers some helpful tips that should aid you in the care of your outdoor plants.
Mulching would be one big tip for them, and as far as their watering, water real early in the morning and soak the ground. Don't worry about putting water on the foliage. We'd rather for it to be on the soil. Worry about that root zone and take a trowel or a shovel and see how deep your moisture is here.
Okay, and what types of things not to do?
Don't sprinkle. Sprinkling the lawn is fine, sure, but if you're going to sprinkle, that's water real good, and of course watering during the day you get some evaporation and you lost some moisture here. So we feel like watering early in the morning and then watering again, we'd rather not water late in the evening because we do increase disease possibilities when we do water late in the evening, so we do encourage more watering early in the morning, and this helps to cut down evaporation.
As for indoor plants, a good way to keep them moist is to use ice cubes because they melt slowly and this will soak the plant's soil thoroughly. But what if your house plants have to be placed outside?
We keep them in a shaded area, and a lot of the plants that we have, hanging baskets and things like this that people are trying to save that they normally have had on the patio because homes give off a lot of heat, particularly brick homes, and moving these under trees and shrubs and just more or less hide them for a while, get them into some shade and protect them there.
Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
It was 5 years ago when the last ice manufacturing company in Beaumont went out of business. Just last year, Jerry Robinson and his son Craig decided to give it another try, and they had no idea that it was going to be as hot this summer as it has been. Their business is now a success, and they're expecting to double or even triple their operation before next summer.
When the Robertsons decided to get into the ice-making business, they had no idea it would be so successful. Jerry Robertson says he was counting on Beaumont's strong economy to carry them through the first year.
For the last 20 years, I worked for a refrigeration company, and I traveled the nation, and what I gathered, Beaumont is the #1 area in the country for growth.
Little did they know that their first summer in business would feature record-breaking temperatures and near-drought conditions. They make and sell about 14,000 pounds of ice each day. Most of it goes to restaurants whose own ice-making machines have been unable to keep up with demand. During the past weekend, the Robertsons sold over 7,000 pounds of ice to refreshment stands at the Summer Arts Festival. Business has been so good, in fact, that Jerry and Craig Robertson plan to double, perhaps even triple, their ice-making operation. It's one of the few success stories to come out of the summer of 1980. Albert Zipp, Channel 6 News.
It's not the nimble little kids chasing the ball down the field these warm summer nights. It's men and women who now run the length of the fields on Monday and Tuesday nights in search of the elusive soccer ball. That's not exactly how the Europeans intended the game of soccer to be played, but when you're just learning the rudiments of the game, you often find yourself in a situation where nothing else works. Actually, the game of European soccer is similar to the American game of football, but it's being played in America in the summertime instead of the fall, so the sports won't be competing against each other for attendance. 8 teams make up Beaumont's first adult league, and with names like the Bombers and the Cyclones and Pele, you're sure to see exciting but exhausting action. And those playing this year have learned quickly how much more finesse is needed for the game than at first imagined.
It's a game of kickball, keep away, and basketball with your feet, and just many more things. That it's similar to basketball in a sense, and it's similar to hockey, but it's just a game you have to come out here and you just can't pick it up. You have to learn it, and it takes skill, real skill, to play the game.
Not only will you find former football players on the soccer field, but women athletes as well.
The guy that I work with told me they needed women out here desperately, so I came out. Yes, I'm still learning. It's more fun that way, I guess, but I enjoy it a lot.
Do you think it's too violent? Do you think that it's too violent for you, that you might be hurt?
Well, I try to avoid that part of it. I'm sure it is violent at times, but I think if you play fair, then, that's all that counts.
Well, mainly because next year when I play at Lamar and during my college career, if I can hold it on, this is good practice. This keeps you in shape and everything like that.
I'm originally from Trinidad, which I've been playing this game all my life. So I just feel like coming out and playing the game and have others kind of learn from seeing me play the game.
A British viewpoint of the American soccer game tonight on The Update. Barbara Bedrick, Channel 6 News. Ian Malik is a former professional soccer player and coach in England. He's now touring America and had also been selling encyclopedias until he met 2 females from Beaumont who suggested he try the city out. He did, and is now working for Buckner's Children's Home and is a soccer instructor at a local Y. And while the weather here and the soccer certainly can compare with that in England, he's also joined a Beaumont City League team that at first had him a little disturbed about their speed.
The game over here is so much slower. And I saw a few games on the fields here and on American TV, and I wondered why they were just stroking the ball around and walking around. After playing a couple of games in this temperature, I now know the reason. In England, at the hottest, it's 65, maybe 70 degrees. Here tonight it must have been over 80, and after about 2 or 3 minutes, you just can't move. The blood's pounding too much in the head.
It's not only the weather, though. Ian claims that children in England start at age 5 to play soccer, and that makes a difference.
And they grow up with it. And it's starting at an early age, so you've got to get the interest at the school level and get them coaching at schools. But you've got so much competition with American football that it could be difficult. It could take a few years yet. If the American professionals start making the game more interesting, then the kids will get interested. But you've got to start at an early age.
This summer, Ian is a Bomber team member, and one thing's for certain, it's more fun than playing with just men, and it certainly beats selling encyclopedias.
Where's the people down here?
Barbara Bedrick, Channel 6 News.
A member of the city's firefighters union says the Central Dispatch Communications Link would make medical transport 10 times more efficient for city residents, but several of the ambulance operators disagree. At a meeting between the operators and city council members this afternoon, just the idea of someone else dispatching ambulances to some locations did not sit too well with the operators.
Preventing, say, multiple ambulances going from a scene where one's needed and running all the way across town for no reason, or you get there and either the victim's already gone or they don't want to go, this kind of thing, you know, that could be helpful. I don't, however, believe it's going to solve all the problems they think it will.
If we have it where one government body takes care of it, because if the fire department is dispatching, the police department is dispatching, and you have 2 ambulances, it's not going to work. It's going to have to be on the one governing body. We can't have 2 different people telling us what to do.
Well, there's no doubt about it that it could improve the efficiency of dispatching, but that's not the problem. They're not addressing the problem.
Well, what do you think the problem is?
Personnel. That's what it's been all the time. The ambulance is here, the equipment's here, there's not enough people.
So, if the city decides not to put a communications link in the fire department, the problem of personnel still remains.
You know, the city is going to have to step in and either help us in some manner or something like that to see that we can get the adequate personnel and maintain the availability of ambulances. You know, the regulations, you know, they're regulating us to death already. I don't think more regulation is going to solve anything.
Also at today's meeting, city council members are asking city residents to help conserve water use. Council is asking residents who live in even-numbered houses to water their lawns and wash their cars on even-numbered days, and asking those who live in odd-numbered houses to water their lawns and wash their cars on odd-numbered days. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
Today of people of Beaumont, realize our potential. And I want to leave this thought with promise to contribute
any money
or
valuable thing
or
promised any public office
said to me, Dad, in Beaumont, to move Beaumont ahead. No more significant moment, or nothing more significant to happen to me than this day. And yet, in spite of the great joy that I personally have, and the great joy that my family holds, I think we will all agree that
it isn't enough to cite the old and endlessly heard argument that most landlords are good people just out to make an honest profit. In fact, that's probably true, but it isn't the issue. The issue is a medieval system that forces tenants, the clear majority, to rely on the goodwill of the landlords instead of on carefully defined and mutually protective laws. And Texas has some of the most medieval landlord-tenant laws in the nation. These statutes, based on the common law of real property, give landlords almost free rein in their rights, but assign an incredibly detailed list of obligations to their tenants. For instance, take the July 1978 Texas Supreme Court Camerath decision, which says by accepting rent, the landlord is implying that a dwelling is fit for human habitation. Before that ruling, the Texas Guide to Consumer Protection stated tenants could not force landlords to keep a place in a livable condition, and you would have to pay rent no matter what. After the Camerath decision, the state legislature passed a habitation law that supposedly would allow a tenant to take a landlord to court if a dwelling was not livable. But in the meantime, rent must still be paid, again, no matter what. Now, most landlords use what is referred to as the Standard Texas Apartment Association lease, or TAA agreement. This lease contains a section known as Clause 15. It states the tenant waives his rights to any implied warranty of habitability. Most lawyers believe this is a scare tactic and would not hold up in court, but most people do not know this and never question its meaning. The most publicized law concerning renting rights was enacted last May. This landmark issue in the legislature now forces tenants to give up the right to withhold rent under any circumstances, in return for which the landlord is obliged to make a diligent effort to repair any condition that affects the health or safety of a tenant. A reasonable time is allowed for the repairs. But this is where the catch-22 comes into play. If the tenant gives the proper notification for repair, he stands a good chance of recovering his goods in court. But this is a habitability case and must be filed in county or district court at a fee totaling $50 or more. And the tenant has to hire an attorney, which is even more expensive. There is no specific legislation presently scheduled to remedy these problems, which is probably the best reason to thoroughly check any lease agreement before you sign on the dotted line. Bruce Cates, Channel 6 News.
Most drivers in Orange are used to taking 5th Street South to downtown and 4th Street North to leave downtown. Each is a one-way street, but that might be changed.
We asked the city staff to look into the possibility of returning the streets to normal traffic. They've been that way since 1962, and a number of changes have been made since that time. The plaza has moved in, and a lot of businesses have moved out of downtown, and we wondered if there was really a need to have the continued use of the streets in one way.
In 1962, the streets were made one way to aid in the traffic flow to and from the then new post office and the downtown area.
Apparently they're still used, but not as much as they used to be used. We didn't conclude anything. It was just a discussion item, and I think we'll probably discuss it another time after we think about it.
Also this morning, a public hearing was held on the proposed GSU rate hike that would increase electric bills here in Orange some $11. After that discussion, city officials opted to join other municipalities in hiring a consultant and an attorney to determine what a fair rate increase would be before deciding upon GSU's request. From Orange, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
It seems like every day the cost of filling our cars up with gasoline gets more expensive. And just when you think flying would be less expensive than driving, the flight fares increase. So where do you turn for a relatively inexpensive means of travel? Well, here in Beaumont at least, travelers are taking the bus. In fact, business for Trailways Bus Company in July is 15% higher than it was for July of last year. Bubba Pate, manager of Trailways Bus Company, thinks the increased bus travel is a matter of economics.
The price of gasoline keeps going up, and it's a lot easier for people to ride the bus. And when you compare that to what, say, it costs to fly from Beaumont to Houston, it's around $50 when you can get on a bus and go from downtown Beaumont to downtown Houston for, say, $7.15. And that's one, I think that's one of the main reasons. It's convenient. It's the most economical way to travel.
We also contacted Greyhound Bus Lines, and they too have recorded a definite increase in bus travel. And for those of you who are senior citizens, there is an added advantage to traveling by bus because of a special fare for those who are 65 years of age or older.
It does take into consideration the inflation rate, and it tries to reduce the fare by that amount to take in consideration the senior citizens living on fixed income to try to make it more convenient and more economical for them to travel.
Pate also added that many of the more popular bus trips are being double scheduled so that everyone is assured a seat. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
It used to be that a cowboy could outfit himself for less than $50. That was back when gumballs cost a penny, and tickets for the latest Gene Autry movie went for a dime at the Rialto. These days, of course, things are much more expensive. These anteater hide cowboy boots cost $539. A good hat like this one costs $140, and the feather hat band is an extra $35. And the shirt goes for $40. So, assuming you've already got jeans and a belt, the rest of the outfit could cost up to $800. And believe it or not, people are buying. The Western look has become the fashion look for several reasons.
Well, I think what got people interested in it would be like the Oilers and seeing Bum Phillips with his hat and boots, and I think that started people on the roll. And plus, country music has gotten to be more popular, and I think that people and going out to the places have to fit the part.
Diane Bertino of Sam's Western store in Beaumont says the Western look is here to stay, at least for the next 5 to 10 years.
So you think that the cowboy look is going to continue to be popular?
Oh, for sure. I've talked with salesmen, and they feel like through the 80s that Western is going to be strong.
Well, If you have $800 to spend on a complete outfit, that's great, but most of us just can't spend that much. We have to be satisfied with a good pair of boots and a hat. This blue hat is going to be quite popular at the Astrodome this fall. All the Houston Oilers season ticket holders are expected to have them. The hat goes for $60. The headband goes for $40. Reporting for Channel 6 News, I'm Albert Zebb.
Beaumont police investigators say the recovered merchandise, including jewelry, silver flatware, and narcotics, are estimated to be worth in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Additionally, have conducted extensive surveillance of them. All of this led to the issuance of a search warrant today, signed by Judge McCaslin, and enabled us to recover several $1,000s worth of jewelry and silverware, and additionally, as you can see, some burglar tools. They had in their possession several handguns, a mobile police scanner, the burglar tools, including a bar and lock-picking devices. They also had false identification, police identification, and handcuffs. They had some ski masks with the eye holes cut out, and some gloves to prevent leaving fingerprints. Our investigation has only begun. We have identified some of the stolen property we've recovered, but there is, of course, quite a bit. We do not know where it came from at this time, and there is a good possibility that quite a bit more items may be recovered in the future.
So you basically feel, is this a major theft ring that has been busted, so to speak, here in this area?
It appears as such at this time. The value of the property is going to reach in the thousands of dollars, and there is a good possibility we may be able to clear numerous residence burglaries here in Beaumont and other locations.
3 men and 1 woman were arrested and are now in the city jail with bonds set at $100,000 each. Police say this is the first of a series of arrests they expect to make as their investigation into a burglary ring, which has burglarized numerous homes in Beaumont, continues. Mario Gomez, Channel 6 News.
The incident took place here, just outside Vidor city limits. Apparently, the 2 youths, 10-year-old Tommy Kerbo and 12-year-old Jeff Landrum, both of Vidor, were playing near the tree when Kerbo, using a 6-foot ladder, decided to climb up. Kerbo's mother, Carolyn Morrison, picks up the story from here.
About 10:30 yesterday morning, my 10-year-old son climbed this tree over here and went quite a ways up. And there's a live wire running through the tree you can't see. You have to go up it, I guess, to find it. You can just stand in certain areas and see a thin line running through the trees. And he slid evidently to one side and grabbed it to break his fall, and it killed him instantly.
Landrum, slightly injured although he did not climb the tree, gives his eyewitness account of what happened.
I was leaning up against a tree and he had climbed up and he was sitting between them, straddling that branch, and he leaned over and grabbed it, and the electricity went down the tree and knocked me off. I was just leaning up against it and it just knocked me off. Scratched me all up.
There are 4 different wires that pass through this tree. On the ground is a dead branch that broke from the tree after being repeatedly struck by electrical currents. Morrison says the accident would have never happened if the tree had been kept trimmed.
Do you feel that GSU is responsible for this?
Well, I would think that they would keep limbs loose from wires where even grown-ups could observe the wires. Any of us could have went up the tree for any reason at all. We have several cats that could have went up that tree. We could have went up after it. It could have been any of us.
The Morrison family say all they want to do is prevent a similar accident from occurring. Bob Summers, who is manager of claims here at Gulf State Utilities, said he would rather not discuss this incident on camera at this time. But he did say over the phone that GSU did trim trees that were surrounding their wires. Summers said the incident involving the Morrison youth
required further investigation. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News.
After a 2-month investigation by the Special Services, Intelligence, and Detective Divisions of the Beaumont Police Department, 4 persons were arrested late Tuesday in connection with a burglary ring, which is believed to have burglarized homes in the Beaumont area. Police recovered tens of thousands of dollars of stolen merchandise, including diamond rings, silver flatware, and other valuables. Today, an accusation bond was placed against Lori and Carmen Stanzone. The couple is being held on 3 counts of felony theft and 1 count of possession of a controlled substance. Bond was set at $100,000 on each count. 1 count of felony burglary was also set against Joseph Campa. Bond was set at $100,000. A 4th suspect was released earlier today. Police investigators expect to make more arrests in the near future. Mario Gomez, Channel 6 News.
Oil tankers like these in the Intercoastal Waterway dock and unload their crude oil cargo almost daily. Right now, that's the only way that foreign crude oil reaches refineries in the Golden Triangle. But soon it may flow from Galveston via pipeline at a much cheaper cost. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in Galveston yesterday granted the Port of Galveston and the Pelican Terminal Corporation a permit to construct a 54-foot deepwater port and oil distribution system in that city. Right now, supertankers must unload portions of their cargo offshore before they enter North Texas coast ports.
It means that the Galveston deep water will be a tremendous boon to the economy down there. Some of the people there live in Chambers County, people live in Jefferson County and work in Galveston and vice versa. Our travel area is pretty broad in this part of East Texas, and it will increase the job opportunities and the competitive advantage of all of the installed industrial capacity, really from Orange through Houston. Because if you can then ship out of Galveston at cheaper, more competitive rates to foreign markets, we can better compete and utilize our productive resources.
With the design of the port comes a pipeline system to carry the foreign crude from Galveston to Texas City and then to Beaumont. Most oil companies in the Triangle receive foreign crude from ships which dock along the Intercoastal Waterway. Whether that will continue and just who will tie on to the new pipeline system isn't known yet. The only thing certain is that it's expected to reduce the cost of transporting oil significantly. Barbara Bedrick, Channel 6 News.
Driving through Vidor, you would never know there was a water problem. Driveways are still being hosed down and lawns are still watered in daytime hours. The Orange County Water Control System serves nearly 1/3 of Vidor. This is the second week of voluntary water controls. Rudolph Landry, district manager here, has been keeping a close watch on the water pressure levels.
Domestic water situation in Vidor is critical. We are like most everybody else, a bit low. We haven't asked people to ration their water, just to be careful with their usage, and not to water their gardens too much, wash their cars too often.
If there isn't a break from this heat soon, water rationing may be the only alternative.
When asked to conserve water, it would be a good idea if you did not water your lawn during the daytime hours, because the temperature gets so hot the water just evaporates.
Landry says that a new water well will be added to the present system in the next 40 to 50 days. This will help take some of the pressure off the other 2 wells.
We do have a new well that's going to be in production as soon as we can get the lines to pump from it. The well is drilled and ready to go.
In the meantime, Landry is still encouraging residents to use the little water they have wisely. Jim Oliver in Vidor, Channel 6 News.
City officials declined to talk about the offer this morning. Ronnie Croft did talk. He works for B&B Water Systems. The company provides water for almost 400 homes in Vidor, including these near Heritage Park. They've offered to sell the system to the city for $380,000.
The city has got to contend with us sooner or later, and we felt like if we offered it to them now at a reduced price, unimproved, that it would save the city a considerable amount of money if they would agree to a two-year period of making a guaranteed price to us. We wouldn't be making any meaningful improvements during this period, and it would freeze the price at today's market value.
When we came to City Hall to talk with the mayor about the water situation, we learned something that the mayor says was included in recent city paperwork, but probably was not understood and possibly not known by most of Vidor's residents.
We have resubmitted an application to Texas Department of Water Resources through the EPA for federal funding, with it pared down to our present city limits. And then possibly the annexation, proposed annexation, might be added in the future, and it might be helpful in obtaining those funds.
Sources in Vidor say the B&B system is important right now since Vidor is without a city system. The future? Sources say B&B is inadequate to serve all 1,600 homes in the rest of the city, so if Vidor gets its own service, first, the B&B equipment could not be converted, and second, all of Vidor would probably be required to be on the city system and not that of a private concern. The discussion will begin tonight at 7 o'clock at City Hall. From Vidor, Wayne Sparrow, Channel 6 News.
Just one day after the Beaumont City Council asked its citizens to voluntarily cut down on their water use, a record level was set in water consumption. Residents consumed more than 30 million gallons of water on Wednesday. That was 1 million more than on Tuesday of this week. Wednesday started Beaumont's voluntary water rationing plan, where citizens living at even-numbered addresses would water on even-numbered days of the month, odd-number houses on odd days of the month. Today was an even day, the 10th of July. It appears the voluntary plan isn't working so far.
We see the pattern that a lot of people do their watering at night. We saw a slight decline the night following, and then yesterday, as you mentioned, the rise. We feel at this time that it's important to continue to put out to the community the importance of their cooperating with this odd-even approach. I'm confident that just by letting the community understand the importance of conserving now and how meaningful it would be down the road if this weather continues, that we'll see a leveling that would be at a satisfactory level for our water consumption.
The city's present water system is only designed to handle 33 million gallons of water a day. If water consumption doesn't decrease, the city may have to impose mandatory water rationing plans. Houston has implemented such a plan, but water usage continues to climb in that city despite city pleas. And even police fines have not curbed water consumption there. Mayor Myers doesn't think that a mandatory plan is the answer. 6 News will continue to monitor the water situation in Beaumont. Barbara Bedrick, Channel 6 News.
It's no secret that temperatures this summer have been much warmer than normal. For most of us, those warmer temperatures mean higher electric bills. There are people, however, most of them either poor or elderly, whose bills will not have changed much. They've been avoiding the use of their air conditioners because they're afraid they won't be able to pay their bills. Gulf States Utilities is aware of this and offers 2 possible solutions.
The first being a budget billing plan or an equal payment plan.
What else is available to consumers?
We can, if the customer will contact us, we can work an arrangement or work out an agreement, a paying agreement with them. It depends on a lot on past payment history, the ability to pay, and how much is owed on the bill.
The equal payment plan is based on a consumer's average bill over a 12-month period. In the long run, he pays roughly what he would ordinarily, but the equal payments each month make the summer burden easier to bear. Gulf States is also willing to accept partial or deferred payments. This is a short-term solution available to reliable customers who meet certain requirements.
They can either come into the office or contact our credit department by phone.
So if you've shown a willingness and an ability to pay your bills promptly in the past, Gulf States Utilities is going to be willing to try to accommodate you during the intense heat of this summer. Albert Zipp, Channel 6 News.
That sound may be familiar as the sound of men working on the railroad. Workers from the Santa Fe were making repairs to the crossing at Calder and First Streets in Beaumont today, trying to make the intersection better for automobile traffic on Calder.
How so? Well, it'll help the riding part of it, you see, because these boards here need to be replaced. They had holes in it and made it rough for the traffic, you see.
So you're making it basically doing the work for the automobile traffic.
That's right, make it better for the automobiles.
Now, this being a main thoroughfare here on Calder, have you had a lot of complaints from the drivers? Have you had problems with them driving through here today?
No, not today, no.
What about the traffic early this morning, you say?
Oh, this morning, well, we just waited till the traffic got thinned out where we could get started and block it off, you see, give everybody a chance to get to work.
But some of the traffic today didn't cooperate with the workers. A Virginia man ignored one of the hazard signs placed in front of the intersection and planted his car smack in the middle of the tracks. George Breckenridge suffered minor head injuries when he hit the windshield of his car. A police officer working the accident said Breckenridge told him he thought the warning signs were for cross-street traffic, so he drove around them and into the railroad work. Breckenridge was taken to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, treated for head lacerations, and released. Meanwhile, the workers continued the repairs, and the work was to be completed before the afternoon rush hour. David Lowell, Channel 6 News.
$1.13 a gallon. Now, there are a lot of people who might think that anything over $1 a gallon is too much, but this is a price reduction. A few days ago, it was $1.15. The reduction is a result of simple economics. Gas supplies have increased, but demand for the fuel has decreased. Whenever that happens, prices fall. In this case, 2 cents a gallon for unleaded and 3 cents for regular. When the price reduction showed up at the pumps today, it took both dealer and customer by surprise.
When I got out there with the screwdriver, they say, I guess you're going up, and I say, no, we're going down, and they say, well, that's a shock. I can't believe that.
With the way the economy and everything is, it's great. Any kind of price reduction on fuel is great.
While Gulf and some other distributors dropped prices, Texaco and ARCO raised wholesale prices by a similar amount. According to ARCO officials, the increase was necessary to regain unrecovered costs due to the slackening demand for fuel. As for the decreases at Gulf, industry analysts don't look for the reductions to start a trend. The oil market is still an unstable one where prices can change at any time. For the present, however, consumers have the chance to save a few bucks at the gas station. Bruce Cates, Channel 6 News.
These are American LaFrance Century Series pumper trucks. They are built to the specifications of the Beaumont Fire Department, and the cost is $90,000 per truck. The pumpers were purchased last year under the replacement program initiated by city administration in an effort to improve the overall equipment of the Beaumont Fire Department. But because the pumper trucks are custom built, they just recently went into service and so far have been successful in fighting a limited number of fires. Tommy May of the Beaumont Fire Department says the trucks should make firefighting a little easier.
Of course, the necessity to have such large volume pumpers, you don't tie up as much equipment at any major fire, whether it's a large refinery fire or a large structure involved with fire. It doesn't take as many pumpers to handle the volume of water that you need to fight a fire of this magnitude. It makes it considerably easier in fighting the fire to have such volume pumpers as these, which are capable of 1,500 gallons of water per minute.
Both pumpers are capable of carrying 500 gallons of water and are diesel powered. Pumper number 1 will be assigned to the downtown area, while pumper number 12, shown here, will be in service throughout the city. Number 12 can also furnish water to 6 hoses at one time. Both pumper trucks will be housed at the Central Fire Station in downtown Beaumont. Terry Elliott, Channel 6 News.
During tonight's meeting, members of the Vidor City Council discussed whether or not to fire City Manager Clerk Bo McDaniels. The city manager has held that position in Vidor for about 14 months. Apparently, some of the council members felt McDaniels was not doing a good job controlling the city's affairs. After a long discussion, a motion to terminate McDaniels was defeated by a vote of 4-3. Mayor Al Briggs cast the deciding vote, and in a prepared statement, he said there is apparently a personality conflict between the city manager and some city council members.
Numerous times, Mr. McDaniel has told this council he needed guidance. He needed their support. He needed their input. That he wanted to do what they wanted him to do. Just tell him and he would do it. Can you ask for better cooperation than that? He has not received that cooperation.
Council also voted not to take any action on a proposal to purchase B&B water systems. Presently, the city of Vidor does not have its own water sewage treatment system. B&B Water Systems has offered to sell the system to the city for about $350,000. In Vidor, Mario Gomez, Channel 6 News.
78-year-old Oscar Muntz was overcome by smoke in this heavily weeded part of his backyard and fell into the fire. Neighbors say Muntz was trying to burn the weeds out of his backyard at the time, something he's done on other occasions. Pat Weaver was inside a neighbor's house when she saw the smoke coming from Muntz's yard.
And I saw smoke, so my cousin and I went out, and she could not climb the fence, but she could see Mr. Muntz, and he was very near the fire, and I climbed the fence and tried to pick him up, but I couldn't, so I dragged him up to the fence, and then I got a hose and turned the water on the fire, and turned it on him, too.
Was he on fire at the time you found him?
Yes, he was. Some of his hair was on fire, so I wet him down and wet the fire down around him, because I knew I couldn't get him over the fence.
Weaver says some of Muntz's clothes were charred and some of his flesh was burned. Emergency workers at the scene say the man has the third-degree burn on his left arm. He was taken to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, where he's in satisfactory condition and is being treated for heat exhaustion and smoke inhalation. David Lowell, Channel 6 News. The Beaumont Police Union is asking the city for a substantial raise in salary. The union feels that present salaries are not competitive enough to keep Grade 1 patrolmen, those with less than 5 years' experience, from seeking other employment which pays more money. Union President Captain R.D. Williamson says the first round of negotiations broke down, and now the union is asking for public support.
We believe that they support the pay raise that we're asking for. In order to show this to the city's negotiating team, we're circulating petitions. They're a non-binding type petition, just showing that the people in Beaumont do support our proposal as far as pay rate is concerned.
The proposed increase in salary ranges from 95 cents per hour for those just starting to $1.69 per hour for detectives and sergeants with 5 years or more experience.
And we'll also probably go door to door and ask them some citizen help in circulating the petitions. We hope to have these back in by the time that we reach at the table again with the city to continue negotiations.
The police union will be meeting with city negotiators again in about 3 weeks. Jim Oliver in Beaumont, Channel 6 News. The owner of Speedy's Stop and Go on Washington says the store has been held up several times in the past. In fact, in his words, the store gets robbed about every other month. And the problem continues. Today, a man in the store making a purchase suddenly pulled a handgun, jumped over the counter, and took all the cash from the register. And 8-year-old Tanya Jones is an eyewitness.
Tell me, where were you when it happened?
By the window.
What were you doing there?
I was walking by, and then I looked in the window, and I told my sister, look, somebody robbing the store.
How could you tell? What'd you see?
When he reached in the cash register.
You saw him reach over into the cash register and take out money?
Uh-huh.
Which way did he go?
Down towards that way by a brick house.
He took off running?
Uh-huh.
Policemen working at the scene told Channel 6 News the man had been in the store several times in the past and was a regular customer, so identifying the man will not be hard when he is apprehended. Police described the man as being about 20 years old, about 5 feet 6 inches tall, and wearing a blue tank top. At last report, the police had no leads on the suspect's whereabouts, but were searching an area within a mile of the store on Washington. No one was injured in this morning's incident. David Lowell, Channel 6 News.